A huge shout out to the Overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the Overthinkers, shout out Buffet too.
All about faith to this is Parker, yeah. Thank you, Overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the Overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it. Welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is Mokwena, I'm your host, and this of course is a place where we love South African football, we love African football, and every now and then we might gamble and go overseas. Now the show is on every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, at 7 p.m. And then of course, if you want to watch any of the episodes back, they are available in full on YouTube. YouTube is where I post most of my content, as well as my podcast stuff and all of that stuff that you'd like to see. If you want to ever know what I'm thinking about something, it is available on YouTube and also on Spotify. So Spotify. Okay, so tonight is a special night. I'm sure you can hear the music there in the background. We're having the Overthinking Football Awards. I want to do my own end of season awards where I'm going to ask you guys to jump in and tell me who you guys think are going to be the winners of the PSL Awards, especially if you look at over here these categories. We've got the goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, striker, coach, our player as the people watching, and then of course also the player's player of the year. So if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you have not followed, please follow. And remember, very interactive show where you can jump in and tell me exactly what you are thinking about whatever it is that we're speaking about. You do that by heading on over to TikTok right now and following me, for those who are watching on YouTube, and you'll be able to jump in and tell me what you are thinking by pressing the button at the bottom of your screen that says multicast. It's got a blue figure hugging a pink figure. You press it, I let you in, and you can tell me what you're thinking. So how it's going to work tonight is that it's going to be 8 segments of 15 minutes. I'm going to bring in 3 people, and I'm going to ask you to each nominate a player. Then I'm going to run a poll over here that we're all going to vote for, 5 minutes, and I'll tell you at the end who has won what. So that is what we have for tonight. Hi, Brad, you'll do the rugby on another day, man. Yes. So feel free to request, feel free to follow, and you can jump in and we can start. So I'm going to start us off with goalkeeper of the year. Remember, request, I let you in. You tell me, you make a case, man. You must make a case for your player, and then we can go from there. So let's see who is here. Those 6 finest kids, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good, my brother. Welcome to the award show. You just so happen to be the first person in. Tell me.
No, thank you.
Who are you nominating for goalkeeper of the season?
Have you seen Sipho Chaine in CAF?
Yeah.
Sipho Chaine in CAF. He saves. Marvelous.
Okay.
Marvelous.
But then why must he be the player of the season, goalkeeper of the season? Because I mean, there's other people that are here.
No, man. It can't be like that because Ronwen Williams, I think he was off this season. He was too relaxed. He was too relaxed.
Yeah.
Cheney now got a call up.
Okay.
It shows that Cheney is on a machine.
Okay.
And this boy is fighting. It reminds me of it scenes.
But then why must he win it over somebody else? Tell me about that Paris defense. Do you think that Abo Podlela were helping?
Yeah, Bodlela is playing. It's just that Koki sometimes he shakes, you see.
Okay. Let me bring in.
So he's able to make good reflexes whereby you are forgetting.
Yeah.
That he can get the ball.
Okay.
He can take out the ball from a tight angle, a tight angle. I remember this game against Stade Abidjan. Yeah, Stade Abidjan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna jump
that
in
day
for
he saved us.
time.
I was afraid.
Oh.
Like, I was like,
I'm gonna jump in for time. I think Ubongs is off here. So our first nominee is Sipo Chain. That is who's going to be nominated first for the Overthinking Football Awards show. Thank you to Zone 6 Fighters for nominating here. Guys, now I want to put down Chipazeze. I'm gonna put down Chipazeze because Chipazeze not only has a trophy this season with Imakesi, but also he has a little bit of an unbeaten run. And also, if we talk about goalkeepers that have made saves, I think Uchipazeze has been one of the most influential. So my nominee is going to be Uchipazeze. I'm waiting for somebody to come in and fight for someone else. Thank you so much, Lotchix. I'm waiting for somebody to jump in and fight for someone else, guys. It is open, feel free. In the comments, I'm seeing I also want to put Chain. So if you're a little bit shy, tell me there in the comments what you're thinking of the nominees and who you think should get this. Hi, man. Lekomfukeng. Why Lekomfukeng? Okay, then of course, the last name that I'm going to add on the list, let me just make sure that this is fine, is I'm going to put in, obviously, we've got Ronan Williams, who is also one of the nominees for me. Very good conversation this is, because every year we ask the same question. Every year we ask the same question. Are you goalkeeper of the season because you are goalkeeping a lot? Or are you goalkeeper of the season because your defense is really good and your team is hardly tested? If there's a goalkeeper that faces more saves, that has to make more saves than you, that has to make more blocks than you, that has to do all of these things, how then can you put your name above somebody else? Think about it. If we look at last season, I believe it was Ahly was top in terms of saves made. I don't think Ronwen featured in the top 5 of saves made. But because he's Ronwen, he passes, he does all of these things, we have decided that he is always put in. But make your cases, guys. Make your cases. Ibuzi, make your cases. I'm seeing people in the comments telling me stuff. So those are the 3. Let's start the first poll. The first poll is going to be for the goalkeeper of the season. Remember, guys, votani, and then we can go from there. So let me just put in a quick poll. Malume Kutso says, does he qualify with the number of games? Okay, let me see. We're starting the 5-minute poll. Goalkeeper of the season. Now 3 options are Chain, Chipazeze, and Williams. If you want to vote, what you'll see right now when I start this poll is that somebody's going to imagine someone says Boma. Guys, so if you want to vote right now, there should be a little blue note that has come up there on the screen that you'll be able to actually click on and vote in what we're doing tonight. So feel free to jump in and vote there. I know it's going to be rocky in the beginning because we're starting off with this. This is something new. But how it's going to work is that I'm going to let people in, and you guys are going to tell me who you feel should be in the awards here. Okay, so currently we've got 6 votes Chain, we've got 3 votes Chipazeze, we've got 1 vote for Williams. Okay, the next category we're going to be looking at, just to get ready, is we're going to be looking at defender of the season. Defender of the season. So remember, I'm going to let 3 people in. You're going to tell me who your nominees are, and then we'll go from there. So who are the defenders of the season? Let me see who is here. And remember, when you come in, you have to back your man. When you put down the name, you have to back him and tell me exactly why you are choosing him. Prati! Prati, welcome to the awards, man. Prati, defender of the season, ke batla o tseba hore wena
ere ke kopa go jumpa ke aka bo baagisanyeng ka mole ere ke base busy.
Oh, where's busy? Why where's busy? Who is saying busy?
Ke busy.
One thing's busy this season. Prati. Hey, man, guys, leave us busy, then you run. Okay, let me see in the comments. We've got, imagine somebody saying, Buma, I go with William, same argument goes in strikers, top goal scorer also depends on the great assists. Pisto says BC, Tess says Mloisane, Bong says BC defender of the season. And then we've still got the poll running for the goalkeeper. We've currently got 14 votes right now. Let me see. Can you still see me? It might do things while we are here, so please bear with me here. Okay, I'll make the case for Species. Guys, I would not have thought, beginning of the season, you lose Sesane, you lose Sesane, you lose Nda. Toki's out injured. I never would have thought that Usbisi would step up to be the defender that we know him to be right now. It's very interesting to think about Usbisi and know that maybe he wasn't somebody who we thought was going to do this at a very high level. I didn't necessarily believe in him in that, but it seems as though he stepped up, and especially when you look at that pairing, where you have him and Umbogazi, who came in a bit later in the season. I think what Paris does very well is pair experience with youth. And what has happened is that you have the experience of Abosbisi helping Abombogazi on in the game, and then also you've seen previously where it's been Koki and CBC, where CBC was the junior, and you've also seen Nda and Sesane. So CBC is a very good shot. Let me go to Kumo, welcome. Man, kiri awards, man.
Oh, one already awards cool for my pirate.
Ay, akere kitse le nominated. So ke tlo go botsa hore wa hao o kenya mang Kumo as your nominee. More defender of the season.
Number 544 lady.
Defender. Lily right back. Yeah.
I don't want to sound biased. I get biased. So if I'm down.
Yeah. Why are you standing with Mudau?
Onya gore ke reng ke Hakimi wa rena ka mo ke Trent wa rena ke star ke superstar eno mono re ira ke na tshore bo maela ka mara pocket last wa tlhalohanya
Yeah.
o thitse di tone ke di explanation why you tsore why
Sounds it's a case, Kumo. You can't just say Mudau itlogele man.
Ba khalefa ba arrest my case Mudau.
So then what would you say to somebody that says Mara Mudau there was a time when Coach Mangoba wasn't playing them. Are you sure Kiena fell? Shouldn't it go to other players who have been in the whole season?
No, Mudau la katla hawane every month. Bona bo second singana bo minute o e phala motho irang every day. Re fa Mudau.
Okay, so then can I ask you?
Yes.
What do you say to the people that argue that Mamelodi Sundowns' defense is one of the strongest defenses in the league? It's a team that doesn't get troubled as much. What's the case you'd make for that? To say that maybe Umudau was not doing that much defensive work as opposed to other players?
He does a lot. The thing is, like, we make defending so easy, it makes it seem like we hardly concede. I mean, like, you can't tell us and say, okay, fine, they do play a part in defense. I'm talking about our strikers. But yeah, the factory, Ronwen hardly gets a touch when we don't pass the ball back to him. Tells you who our number 6 all the way to 3, 4, 5, 6. They are solid. They are solid. And yes, there's been chances where we've been caught out, considering aside from Morena, Modau, we don't really have speed defenders. Maria, we are that good. People think Sundown, so people don't attack, and we're being attacked all the time. Why easy? I agree. Every team wants to play a katum counter attack. So who do you think has to defend those things?
Can I ask you?
I will say about our defense. Shem said piece out of ball. Gonna fail until
set piece really cross.
Ke set piece I get OT kantoreng.
Cross, open play cross. Get set piece.
Who's a cross? We play a cross. Those are
Yeah,
open play
cross.
Or not open players, no call when I call you out. Oh, there's.
Hey, Mara. Kuma, I want to ask you one last question. Who's the second best defender? If Muda was number one, who's the second best defender at Sundowns?
I was gonna say Grand Mororo Nelogo Pyramids. So I don't know. Grata mfana cause. I want.
Udlalile 10 games nyana.
I know this is gonna be bad on my side. I'm getting drunk. No, can you medication? If it's not my sports emulsion. Mara, fiki bulelang. Khoza.
Yeah.
I get a corner was a Kamokala Oloko Parto 19 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, sharp.
Okay. It's got emulsion. Hopefully, Khoza grows into the role. Check about to that are drinking Scott's emulsion. Let me bring it, Malume Kuto. Malume Kuto.
Mr. Uti, Kumo Twaga, Marabona Kumo Bali.
Wabali. Yeah.
As someone opera the suit, I hope you could. Kirkiko water, man.
Yeah.
Minimum number of games, how many games? I remember they mentioned it. Percentage, keep guy.
I'm forgetting the percentage, eh?
Because Williams was level 16 games.
Yeah.
Motaung was level 15 games. Which is like king. Yeah, I think that's about 53% more, above 66%.
Yeah.
Because I thought they said it's 66%. And then I think they drop it, go play off the season. So for me, I would say Bodlela has no contender, Mr. Oti.
Okay, make the case.
One might say by default, Mr. Oti, he's been a stalwart. You know, and it's unfair on the other teams because I watch Pirates games. When you see a player improve beyond imagination, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I remember shedding a tear at Stadium, watching Bodlela attack my pocket.
Hey, Muta Montana.
Watching Bodlela attack my pocket, carry that ball into his six. You know, when we lost Ukanakimba Unda, we all thought, how are they going to play because they're in midfield?
Yeah.
And this guy says, you know what, I'll step up. It's okay. And boy, does he not step up.
Tell me about the suffering of the team. Because I think one of Pirates' strongest attributes this year was, they can suffer. Defense how?
Yeah, no, they can take in a lot, Mr. Oti. And even Ama hits from Ama strikers. Those guys, we labor Ama Kimamani.
Yeah.
We under attack.
Yeah.
Yes, here and there was laps, which is why we've seen Usipo China being able to step up when called up. Shama saves are great, Mr. Uti. Not that the defense has been watertight. We have had one-on-one, and not once, not twice, a couple of times, Mr. Uti.
Yeah.
But most of the time, Mr. Uti, those guys soldiered on. I was also tempted to mention Uhoto in that kind of king, in terms of consistency from an Orlando Pirates perspective. But I don't think it would be fair on the rest of the league if we start nominating abantu bafana noHoto for a defender of the season. I think there are other people who gave a consistent performance at the back, like someone mentions here, Umuloisan, Nabo Torre, but who I don't think this season they've been as great as they were last season. Abu Pasadine, so I wouldn't really kind of put a name like Uhoto up there, but Bodlela, Mr. Oti.
Before I let you go.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no. Go on. Sorry. Go on.
I wanted his ability to spray passes, his ability to intercept, his ability to carry the ball.
Yeah.
The season, carry the ball from that wide right center back position into that central CDM position and put out a proper pass, Mr. Oti. I think it's been incredible.
Before I let you go, Malume Kuto, when everybody is fit, who are your two starting center backs?
When everybody's fit.
Yeah, when everybody's available.
And I'm going to war a normal game.
Okay, let's do 2. War, normal kid.
Let me just say SBC and Olisanda
Okay.
definitely start. And if I'm going to war, I'll have 3 defenders as we always do when we go to war. I'll have SBC, SBC Nda and Mbogazi. But I feel like Mbogazi also has a shout there at left back.
Okay. Hey, okay. Let me bring it to Montana. Montana. Is it still here? Oh, Montana. Okay, for time's sake. There we go, man. Montana. Welcome. Oh.
Hey, I'm good, my brother. Hey, kalama gqwirha manan thakatha bafunde again.
Hey, Montana, basongenile. I'm looking for your nomination for Defender of the Season. Konus Bisi, Konu Budau. Is there anybody who's missing there?
I think there were 2 best defenders when you compare. So I don't think they. When it comes to a league, man, I think they are standouts when it comes to a defender. Others were not consistent. But the only disadvantage, I think it's the matches, man. Because if you remember, there was a time he was injured. And there was a time when he was bad.
Yeah.
So it would be unfair to the guys that have played more matches than half of the season. So I think the argument it's not that, but there's not much difference, man. But it is when he plays Motaung, he is the best defender on the pitch. And any team, even bafana, compete namntu pha. But this season, it was not his best season. I think his best season was last season when he was also scoring goals, chipping, assist. Just because we expect so much from him, which is it's a good thing, because when you expect so much from a player, which is there's something good that Muta is doing. Usbis, I think he's been the best defender in all aspects. I think he has 4 goals that he chips in this season. There were matches that he won for Pirates.
Yeah.
This season, headers. I think he stood up this season, and I strongly believe that this was his best season. I don't think next season is gonna perform, but this season I think it proved it. And when the defenders were injured, like Poki,
yeah,
or Latoka, or Nda, that's the other part that abantu don't give credit to Usbisi, because he stood up when the senior players were injured. He is the one who carried Ombokazi. That's not something easy to guide a youngster like Umbokazi. Even Sesani was welcome by Lomchita, by Usbisi, and is those little things that some of us we don't look at those players like Osibisi, like leadership.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that match a youngster like Orlando, to a team like Orlando Pirates. Maybe we would have been talking about his mistakes as inside, but because he's playing with a player like Osibisi, which is he's been guiding him so well. That's why we're talking about TLB that are doing well. We should give credit to also to his base. That's why, for me, I think I've been saying all my life that I'll give it to him without fear of doubt. He deserves it, Usbis.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Malume Kutso. When everybody's fit for Pirates, Bisimboga as the Thesan and Da, Toki, you could even throw in Mayela, even though he's leaving. Who starts there? Who's your starting back to?
Central.
Center back.
Between number 5 and number 4.
Yeah, when everybody's fit, I'm a center back. Who's the two that you are picking?
Hey, the two now it will be Osbesi and it will be Unda, because Unda man, before injury, he's been on his own.
Yeah,
Where he is an international defender. Not many guys can be called Queen national team. Yes, Nigeria and play. We know in Nigeria is being represented by players that are playing in England, not in Belgium or what, in England. But he managed to crack the end. When that was playing Pirates, you saw the Slibelena go so Unda game yakhe man is very different, close to Lakers Kasesani. So Usbesi, we know Usbesi is a leader. So you need those players. Nalapha mentioned you saw how we won against the Pirates. But one zikhabe uzikhwitshe. So that's why abhuti sibatyumze nokhokhomelelo sababonisa uba sibadala abafana bam.
What time I'm gonna jump in, but what time? I'm starting the poll. So please vote. There's a blue little thing that's gonna pop up on your screen right now. Please vote. We're doing defender of the season. We started out the goalkeeper of the season. I can tell you that Uchain has won that pretty easily. So please vote. Remember, we're all voting here. We're gonna move on now, guys, and we're gonna go into your midfielder of the season. Please jump in, let me know, make your case about the midfielders, and tell me who your midfielder of the season is, and we can go from there. So remember, you can request, I'll let you in, and we can have a conversation where you must state your case, guys. When you come in, state your case. I need 3 nominees. The voting is on right now. Let me see who's here. I'm trying to let Tupilani in. Okay. Hey, what's happening? There we go. Pilani. Hi, man. Ngimnandi, man. Pilan, we're on the midfielder. I need your nomination for the midfielder of the season. And tell me why are you picking this person?
Makehleni Makaula.
Hey, man. The old man.
Yeah.
Why the old man? Why are you going with the old man?
He has been a silent anchor in that Pirate squad throughout the season. Makehleni Makaula, for me, he's the unsung hero. Where, yes, as much as other players have been taking the limelight into Jengabo Rele, Jengabo Nkota, Nabo Tito, Nabo talented but to a certain extent. But the moment Makaulo's not there, you see that there's a hole that's missing.
Yeah.
Like Makaulo for me is like he's an enforcer. He's an enforcer, he does the dirty work. He's like the back end. You're born in IT, corner front end developers and back end developers.
Yeah.
Makaulo for me is the back end developer.
The unsung heroes.
You know, he's the unsung hero. He's very solid. Okay, yeah, fine. He does have like a temper, so to speak, when the pressure comes to him. That pressure, he allows it, you know. And with that pressure, he does thrive to a certain extent, because if he plays well, Umbata plays well, and then when Umbata plays well, Tito plays well. You know, so yes, he's a typical CDM. He's not the fastest player, but then in terms of his work rate, his quality work rate, meaning how efficient he is, he's up there.
Is there still space?
So,
is there still space for me? Makaula is a throwback player in this world now. They want the CDMs to get the ball, take it into midfield, pass, do all of those things. Is there a space still for players like Makaula, especially when you look at the Paris midfield struggling a little bit when they have to play out the ball?
Good question. I think there is. And the reason why I say that it is because most of the times or not, they're like CDMs. Like if you look at like from a European perspective, CDMs such as Rodri, whereby like they're like the modern CDMs where they have to like do like everything. But then those certain CDMs, in as much as they're like once in a lifetime generation, but certain CDMs like thrive in certain systems. You know, sometimes old is gold. Because in a lot of people have a tendency to like run to the nearest shiniest thing, and sometimes it doesn't work. You know, so going back to basics in here and like doing like the simple things, it does work out in the long run. A perfect example for that I can speak about is Mokwena. He's not the flashes of players, but he's very solid. He does the basics very well. You know, so I can give it to Mokwena as an honorary mention. But for me, Makaula, Joe.
I wanna bring in Malume. Yeah.
Especially during the Champions League. Wow.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
I wanna bring in Malume Kutso. Malume Kutso. Are you gonna agree? Are you bringing somebody in?
I'm bringing somebody in, but for fairness sake, because I've just hit the mic, can I give PK a chance and come in after him?
Okay, no stress. PK!
Hola, Uti.
Bakubulela, man. Bakubulela, Barekena. And tell us what you're saying.
I had several, but because Kele Sundowns ke bias, but for me, I have 3 players that are outstanding.
But it's to get one.
I'm conflicted. I keep to work Ribeiro, Tebza, or Allende. I'm conflicted, but I will go with Tebza.
Okay.
For these reasons, I think Tebza have carried Mamelodi Sundowns in its structure and philosophy, but not only that, in creating opportunities to make players shine. Those passes, taking the ball from Rowan Williams from the back, pushing until the front, and taking those beautiful shots. Not only at Mamelodi Sundowns, Bafana, but moreover, now when I want to rate the player, I rate the player with consistency. Even if the loss pyramid, that guy he has such a fighting spirit.
Yeah.
He always fights. He fights. So for me, I will go with him. Maybe even there I'm still biased because he's South African. Otherwise, he's doing almost the same work with Allende, but Allende is not shooting, so I will go with Tebza for me.
Hey, when now you are the anti-Fleming today. PK, I want to ask you, can you just delve deeper into that conversation you're having about Tebza? Because I think one of the interesting things this season was that Tebza, previously he could lean a little bit on Kutsie, and then we thought Obas would become something, and Tebza almost had to plug that gap. Tell me about that.
Look, I think now those 2 players that you have mentioned, Kutsie and Obas, I think now the person who is trying to close that gap, but at the same time is slow, it's Adams. Adams, I think next season it will be a better season on how we are playing. Remember, Adams would late, but you can see the toil on Tebza when Gautier was not there, when Obas was not there. Even the absence of shooting, he was more deep rather than going forward when Gautier was there, able to mark and alleviate some pressure from him.
Mm.
The problem ka motho ka Obas is that he's able to mark, but he's quite rough.
Okay.
Unnecessary sometimes, but also I don't think he has those beautiful passes like Gautier. Gautier's accuracy towards Tebza was making things easier. That's why I'm saying Adams, I think he is not far from Gautier if you look at the style of play. Very relaxed, able to penetrate through the spaces, which I think for me it's a good substitution of Gautier or Adams. But sometimes, man, he can miss in action when especially we are under pressure.
Yeah.
Re tlhokagala gore re marke. That's the difference about him and Gautier. But as for Obas is there. I think for me, OT, Obas, you can put him defensively if we are under pressure, like we were under pressure with Pyramids last time. That's the kind of player that you need in midfield. In fact, I think the best player for me, I don't know why they don't play him, two who can play and become danger and a threat to opposition, it's Mkhulisi or Neo Mayema Badlala le Tebza. I think they can really pose a real threat if these two players are there.
Okay. Uqalile hape
Yeah, no, it's fine,
anti-flame me.
okay.
Anti-flame me.
That's the problem. Re na le quality. So our sheba but it's fine.
Let me bring in Malume Kutso. Malume Kutso, we've got Makaula, we've got Mokwena on the board. Do you want to add anybody else here?
Now the safe option never pick up when they don't know where to go. Never memorable games. If you just say to Mokwena and you close your eyes, you know you will see. No one because of Piggies. Whether he's been dropping about 65% the whole season, you just say to Mokwena spegale song. But anyway, ukuthi attacker, what defender says, what we create or kora into Mokwena we believe. But anyway, what's a midfielder? All right. I think if you look into definition of midfielder, you'll find that wingers are also midfielders and some wingers are strikers.
I want to make them forwards though.
I
want to move them to the forward.
It's unfair, Mr. Uti, because some of them, and I'll come, we've seen this midfielder being used more as a 10.
Okay.
And a 10 is definitely a midfielder.
Okay.
And we've seen some, you see when you talk about Saling, that's a striker. When you talk about Thierry Henry, Cristiano Ronaldo, those are strikers. But we have certain midfielders, more Hazard, who you can see, this one is a midfielder, even if he goes out wide. One matter. Really, okay. If he is the second best footballer in this country right now after Lucas Ribeiro, I'm making that submission, by the way.
We'll get there.
Then surely in his position, he's the best.
So, okay. So you're submitting him as a midfielder?
I'm submitting Orele as a midfielder, Mr. Uti.
Okay.
Gavin Titus was nominated as a midfielder last season. And he was there, voted. And I think Titus is more. And anyway, if you look at the definition of a winger, Mr. Uti, it's under midfielders.
Mara kere ke midfielders ka 4-4-2. The red 4-3-3. Wingers are inside forward, left what, right what.
And then Pirates plays 4-2-3-1. It's never 4-3-3. He's never pasted up there. He's never pasted up there. Ingwenya has been playing 10. Ingwenya has been playing 10. Now, but for me, I'm going with Relay, Mr. Uti.
Okay, going with Relay. Can I ask you, at Pirates, you've got Relay obviously going into the 10. You have Tito going into the 10. Do you think that those two can coexist, or is it a case of one must die, essentially?
No.
They
can coexist. I think when someone has a down season, you forget everything good that they've done. There's a point where that combination, Tito no Relay, had a magnet of some sort, you would see them pull each other. You'd see Utito move from the left to make sure that relay is comfortable. I'm little Nengu, but boy, food at home.
Hoto, at least hot chocolate.
We understand. But boy, Puza, la ube mnandi. You understand, Mr. Uti. Na moye nje umakopa ufikile manje uthi nayi TV boy, bukela. So for me, I don't think there's a competition per se. I just think both of them dipped in form at different periods. And luckily for Pirates, they did not both dip at the same time. Maybe they dipped at the same time, got one game, or if not two. But throughout the season, like with other positions, we've been able to supplement each position, like the center back story that we've spoken about. The only position that luckily, Kamuhau, Morena, we went tested, is that midfield position where we literally had two players the whole season.
Okay. No, I'm gonna go with it. Guys, defender of the season was won by Usibisi on the polls. For those who are just joining me, today is the award show here at Overthinking Football. So we are going to vote. So what happens is I'm going to bring in panels of 3 people to speak about whatever category we're speaking about at the time. They will put down their nominees, and then I will run a poll that is similar to the one that is going to start now. So right now on your screen, you will see a little blue notepad thing appear left top side of your screen. You click on that, you vote, and I will tally up all the scores, or TikTok will tally up all the scores for me, and we'll be able to go from there. Currently, Mokwena's got 6 votes. It's looking like a whitewash on that one. Okay, now we're going to be moving. We're going to be moving on to, let me just find it. Remember, I'm going to call on you when you come in. Please bring me your player and state your case. Bring me your player, state your case, and we'll go from there. So right now, we're going to striker, but I'm changing striker. I used the wrong word. The word that I was meant to use there was forward. So if you think about your Mohamed Salahs, if you think about those players, because a lot of our teams try to play a 4-3-3, which ends up looking like a 4-5-1, as Maluma Kutsa said there, I'm going to change it to forwards. So personally, I would have loved Abu Mfukeng to fall here. I would have loved Abu Titus to be here, Ribeiro and all of those guys. But if you can make a case, come in and make your case. So I'm going to let 3 people in. We're going to have a discussion now. Hey, Mokwena's mopping the floor. Hi, guys. Hey, Mokwena's mopping the floor. But in any case, let me open for the next 3. Remember, guys, we're talking about the forwards of the season. So let me bring in the next 3 that are going to speak about the forwards. Remember, we still have 3 more categories to speak about. Please remember, when you come in, state your case. Tell me why, who, when, what, how, so that we can vote. Let me start with Butlale.
Uzi, desperate times call for desperate measures, OT.
Okay.
Man. Off season, I don't even know what to watch. You know, it's just a depression. It's just depression. But
No. But now I'm gonna ask you. Is it that it's boring, or is it that you've got Stockholm syndrome? You've been held hostage the whole season, and now you don't feel that same rush.
We'll go back to the present. Let's get into the topic. Because now you'll make me more depressed, because there's no football for the next 2 months. So I can't
tell
lie.
me about it. Forwards. Remember, it's forward.
Yeah.
Forward of the season. I made a mistake with striker.
Yeah. Malume Kotsu, it was Abuti Kutsu, ne?
Yeah.
He drank me, I can't lie, because I wanted to see what would have happened between Ribeiro and Mfukeng on the panel, right?
Yeah.
So me, obvious, I'm gonna nominate Ribeiro, obvious. But honorable mention, Christian Saile, honorable mention, Nochiva Viro, honorable mentions, obviously, best strikers, best forwards in the league. If I'm just putting Ribeiro there just to be nice, yabo. Yeah, man.
Why Ribeiro?
Oti, you know the thing with Ribeiro, ne? I like versatile players, Oti. I like versatile players.
Okay.
You know, throughout the whole season, we've seen Ribeiro kind of playing in two positions, right? So we've seen him drifting into the 10, we've seen him drifting out wide. And even though out wide, you know, I don't like him out wide. That's why I think he's more of a midfielder than Mfukeng. So I think he should have been in the midfield section. Yeah, but you know,
Can I ask you a technicality there? Can I ask you a technicality? Sorry. RMR plays usually with no central striker and he becomes a false 9. Do you still put him in midfield or with attack in that situation where they're playing that front three?
Yes, and I'll say this because as a false 9, you're not the last line of attack. OT, it's important. It's important to note that as a false 9, you're not the last line of attack. As a false 9, what happens is similar to him drifting to the 10, it still creates a diamond midfield. OT, you have a 6, you have the double 8, you have a 10, you have a 10/false 9. OT, that's what happens in RMR. So I still. You know, you can make a case for him being a forward, but I still classify him as a midfielder, but it's fine. He's a forward.
Wait. Sorry, just on the thing. I'm sorry. I just have to ask.
Yeah.
Mahopa.
Oh, Nkosia.
What is he?
Is this not conclusified? He's a central defensive striker. It's somebody in the comments can make up a word that integrates the word defender and striker together. That's what he is. Oti, I can't say he's a midfielder. He's not the midfielder. Have you seen a midfielder with such a shot, Oti?
No, I was just asking. I was just asking to make sure.
Yeah.
That's all I was asking.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I see Mahopa. I see what he brings to the table. You know, the pressing up front is brilliant from him. But my type of striker, I would put Andy Boyle over Mahopa.
Okay.
I think that's a very underrated shout. I've watched Kukune, you know, not multiple times, but when I've watched Kukune and Andy Boyle has been playing, he's always a threat. He's always a threat. He's always there. You know, being a box striker, you know, and being a threat behind that defense. So in terms of the hierarchy, I'd put Andy Boyle above Mahopa as a forward. But yeah, at the top is Ribeiro. And second to him is Reyners.
You get one. Whoa.
Yeah. Okay, let me stop.
You get one. Let me bring in we are welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you, my brother? Thank you for the opportunity.
No stress, Buyo. Buyo, we've got Ribeiro down. I'm looking for the other options. Who's your nominee for forward of the season?
Reyners.
Why Reyners?
Most goal, most assist. He can play as a left winger. Ngale side is number 10.
Okay.
Cutting inside. He can assist, he can score goals. Even the stats are still saying the same thing. Because he's got a lot of assists. He's followed by Ribeiro. So between the two, it's one of the best for the season.
What do you think changed with Reyners? Because at some point he was benching. Mangoba didn't want him or didn't want to play him properly. There was a time in the season where he went missing. What changed for him at Sundowns?
No, he's getting matured. He's understanding the level of the team that he plays for. Because in that team, there's a lot of talented players. At some point, you need to share.
Yeah.
You don't need to take the credit alone. He understands the culture of Sundowns. He's been there. It's one of the South African players, and he's quick, so it's easy for him to understand the culture of Sundowns. But I'm very, very impressed with his season. This is the first season. I'm hoping next season he can do well as well and with his teammates.
So when you look at that front line, Do you think there's still a space for Shalulile?
Yeah, sometimes OT games are not the same. Sometimes as a former football, there is certain games where you can do you came with your A game, but you can't get the chances, or it's not your day. It's happened to the best players in the world. So Sundowns, they must have strikers on the bench so that they can injuries, yellow card. It's part of the game. So you need a bench whereby you're going to assist the team. So because you got a lot of games, it's not like other teams. I don't want to name other teams, but at Sundowns there's a lot of games. So at some point, every game is important. Yeah, every game, every cup is important. So I think every player wants to play each and every game, but it's not easy. But even the coach, sometimes you need to make those substitutes so that he can balance the team. And it's easy to plan for one team, but it's not it's not easy when you to plan for Sundowns, because they have a lot of quality players. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
No, Will, thank you so much. Let me bring in Agent.
Shalom, my brother.
Are we shaloming today?
Yes.
Whole season is all shalom.
Men in black.
Yeah, no, it's an award show, man.
Yeah, and you look the part, eh? Butlali, I hate you saying there's no football, right? You guys on vacation, big teams are still playing. They're still looking for football. You guys can continue buying there, and yeah, don't worry. But yeah, my nominee, right? I think it's a clean sweep, eh?
Clean
sweep. Othur Salesh, should call him Arthur Seals.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay, hear me out, Utine. We're saying strike of the season. What is the goal of the strike?
Yeah.
What do you want from your strike? What do you want?
Goals.
You want goals, right? So, now for me, it doesn't matter if he played 2 games and he scores 20 goals. It's fine, give him 20 goals. Yeah. In fact, that is the better striker, because it means that he doesn't need a lot of games to give me more goals.
Yeah.
So my strike of the season, Arthur Seals. Because you look at the minutes that he has played, and you look at his input, I think Ribeiro is on 25, Reynas is on 23, he's on what? What is the weight? Yeah, 17.
Yeah.
Or 16, somewhere there.
Yeah.
So I say about my 6-7 goals. But he played the last minutes. For me, that's the marksman, eh? Very efficient.
But can I ask you, Agent, what is the misunderstanding with sales? Because I know a lot of people are not gonna agree with you. What is the misunderstanding? Where are we losing it?
No, the thing is, right, it's politics. I think there is a deep dislike. I don't know if it's wokeism or is it Pan-Africanism or is what, but there is a certain hatred for South Americans, even within the club, If you look at right now, I'm not defending him, but I'm saying he made 2 mistakes and he's been cast into the oblivion in Suarez.
Yeah.
But
whereas
someone questioned us twice again in the CAF Champions League, the bigger one. And even before, a certain Mvala questioned us the invincible, questioned us the league, but he still gets forgiven.
Yeah.
You look at in the midfield, who's getting the most criticism for the goal that was considered against Ahly. It was Allende. I think he made a bad pass to Mokwena, but Mokwena couldn't control it and wanted to dribble. But still only gets the short end. So it's a certain dislike, even now, even the coach. You know, he has done more. There's nothing more that he could have done to make our past season better, but still, people don't want him. So I think there is some xenophobic tendencies that has crept into the Sundowns ranks. I think we should call it for what it is. Yeah. And oh yeah, sorry. And also, I see people saying he missed open chances. There's a certain goat that I know. When it comes to 1v1 shame, I wouldn't even bet with my last cent to score the goal, but we're not there. Thank you.
You guys just want to fight. No, I don't want to fight, guys. I can tell you that from the last poll that I ran, Mokwena is our midfielder of the season. He clean sweep that thing. 15 votes went to him, 5 to Mfukele, and only 1 to Makaula. So now I'm going to start the conversation. I'm going to start, sorry, not the conversation. Evan, why is it blocking me now? There we go. Sorry guys, something seems to be happening here. Okay, I'll tell you when that's going to start, guys. We're going to move on now. We've got goalkeeper so far, Kane, goalkeeper of the season. Defender so far, CBC. Midfielder so far, Mokwena. Striker, I'm going to start it. It says it's under review right now. Oh, there we go. There we go. So guys, there's a blue box that has just appeared on your screen. Click on that if you want to vote. With 3 options for forward of the season. Sorry, I said striker, but forward of the season is Ribeiro, Sales, and Reina. Clean sweep of Mamelodi Sundowns players. Even though Matthews is not there, you guys have gone a different direction. So now we're going to just get into coach of the season. So I want to hear from you guys, the main man in charge. The coach, the guy who decides the tactics and moves everything around. I want to know from you guys, who is your coach of the season? Remember, when I call on you, jump in and we can have the conversation, but you need to, how can Nanje? Tell me exactly why, where, how, when that you're choosing this coach to come in. So guys, feel free to request. Bottom of your screen, there's a button that says multi-guest. Click on that button. I'll let you in and we can go from there. Kibona batu babua kanabi. Pilani, welcome. Welcome back. Coach, who are you going with?
Honorable mention.
Wait.
Nasruddin Nabi.
John Nabiolis.
Guys, in as much as Jesus had a bad season, as a Makelane, he's been nothing but comedic relief. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But obviously I'm gonna be biased here.
Okay.
Rivero.
Oh,
Rivero
okay.
for coach of the season. Even though ganye who's costing in a bank fire, but it's fine, you're not there. There have been times where
allegedly. Allegedly.
There have been times where like Jose Rivera has been under scrutiny, especially with the lack of squad rotation.
Yeah.
And there have been times whereby like the squad has been like hampering with injuries as well. That has been a very big thing. And also there have been like certain games whereby he has made like certain costly mistakes where they've been like very, very detrimental towards Pirates' success. We can all agree with that. But throughout the season, for me, Jose Rivero as a personality has been consistent for me. And that consistency for me with regards to personality, with how he handled the media, it also directly affected. It also had like a carryover towards the Pirates players.
Okay.
In that, Vele, there were like ups and downs, but then in as much as there were downs, the ability for Orlando Pirates under Jose Rivero to turn around those downs or to limit those downs being carried further has been quite successful in like him limiting going down like a downward spiral.
Hmm.
You know, so yes, technically his tactics were very, very dubious. When it worked, it worked. You know.
Okay.
Sometimes when it didn't work, it didn't work.
Hmm.
But then for me, his mastery, Jose Rivera's mastery for me, it's his ability to make the most of what he had.
So can I ask you? I want to ask you, when you're saying the ability to make the most of what he has, do you think that Pirates could have done better had they spent some more money? Had they, how do I put this, allowed him to use certain players? And that's question number one. Number two, one trophy this season. Some might say that might be a failure when you look at the outcome.
Question one, if he had the freedom, he would have won the league and the Champions League. Without question. For me personally.
Okay.
And then with question two, in comparison to what he did for the past 2 seasons, it is a failure. It is a failure because he set the bar so high. But then the fact that he set that bar so high, even though he dipped a bit, but then he can still point, he can still point to that reference to the standard that he has set. To say, okay, fine, I did step back a bit, and things did not go as much as much as that I wanted to. But in respective of that, I came here and I did what I did, and I've got no regrets for that. And the results speak for themselves, you know. 5 trophies in 3 seasons.
Okay.
Including the other two, trophies with the Culling All Stars as well. You know.
So okay, just a quick question. A quick question before I let you go. Where does Jose rank amongst the greatest coaches that we've had in the league? Do you think that with the 5 trophies, he's up there in the rarefied air? Or is he still a little bit off?
In terms of him being the best, it could be disputable. It could be debatable. But for me, he is the most memorable. Because the impact that he had from the get-go, and for him to leave, his impact in here, he has literally created like a vacuum within the league, you know. So
okay.
So for me, like in terms of like impact, he has been the best so far.
I'm gonna jump in. I want to bring in Butlale. Butlale, who are you nominating?
Oti, Yazi, I'm ashamed. Oti, I'm ashamed. I am ashamed. I have forgotten.
Yeah.
I have forgotten the infamous daily reminder. Oti. So let me catch up on my homework. Oti. We are here another day, and it is your daily reminder that Kaizer Chiefs is your Nedbank Cup champions. Let's continue. Oti, we all know that Don Naviolis is coach of the season, but no, Oti, wait.
I was gonna
Wait, Oti. Let me, because it's a known fact, so let's leave it. Oti, we have to notice coaches like Stevie Buck. Oti.
Okay.
We have to notice coaches. I'm nominating him, by the way, Barker. Oti, let's look at what happened to Stellenbosch this season. They lost Reyners, they lost Adams, Oti, and they with all that, nah, they still got to the semi-finals of the Confed, right?
Okay.
They are third in the season, in the league, right? With considerably less resources than even though their owner is a billionaire or something.
The richest man in Africa on a given month.
Yes. So, but they don't use their resources, you know, as much as the top two teams in the league, right? So
Okay.
looking, and also Mujela was supposed to play a big part this season, right?
Mm.
Mujela was supposed to play a big part this season, and he was injured most of the season, and they still finished third best team in the league. Coaches like this have to be. We have to talk about coaches like this, OT.
Mm.
We have to talk about coaches like this. I mean, he's found a way, OT, to attack the big dogs in the league, in the league, right? Even though he got humiliated 3-0, let's not talk about that. It's fine. OT, I feel like if if they sat down Johan Rupert, né, and said, my brother, here's my 5-year plan. If
Okay.
you give me the resources to do this and this, my underrated opinion, my unpopular opinion is that Stellenbosch is capable of winning the league. OT. That I know it's very unpopular, but if he sat down with Johan Rupert and said, "This is what I want to do. Give us the operating budget to keep these players, because these players, Sundowns is going to offer them big salaries, right? So give us the operating budget to keep these players, and renew their contract for the money that they want to get offered by Sundowns anyways, so they can keep these players, buy more, and then it's gonna be up to me if we get success. And if in the next 5 years that happens, I think Stellenbosch truly have the ability to win the league. OT. And me coming from a Chiefs fan, it might seem a little offside, because I don't want Sundowns to win the league, nor do I want Pirates to win the league. But it's a genuine, legit argument. I think that it's a possibility that could happen. And Stevie Barker, I just don't think he gets the love and respect that he deserves. Especially what I mean, when Stellenbosch like number 8 or something during when they were fighting for CAF, for Conte, and he brought them back with a bang. Now they third, the third best team in the league, and yeah.
But isn't this a pattern, Butlali? I see a team that could have more money, but the owners have chosen they've chosen a specific model. They're selling players. The coach is pulling miracles after being in the league for a very long time. What's stopping Steve Barker from becoming Kevin Hunt, Eric Tinkler? What's the difference there? Because they were riding high. Supersport was in Africa. Supersport was number 3, whatever, consistently. What's stopping that from happening at Stellenbosch? Isn't that a possibility?
I think they found a model, OT. I think he's found a model. You watch what's happening with the Stellenbosch Academy. I mean, Jaden Adams went to Sundowns. Now who's filling in for him? Palace. This Palace guy has been getting groomed because they knew Jaden Adams gonna go, right? And then I bet you now that this Palace guy is gonna blow up next season, go to a big club. Then there's gonna be another person from the DDC that they're grooming to come in again. I think it's a model that's been thought through and said, we probably don't have the resources, even though they do, but they just don't want to use them. We probably don't want to use those resources, right? To keep the players, so we're gonna have to sell the players to bigger clubs. So we're gonna have to create a model in which that we can sustain being competing in the league, being competitive, while
But Supersport did that. Supersport did that for decades, and it caught up.
Thing I don't Shangazi, man. It's a hard question, OT, because Coach Gavin, I think he's one of the better coaches we've had in the last 15 years, last decade.
30 years. 30 years. He's got 3 league titles, 4 league titles.
Yeah, okay, you can say last 30 years. Yeah, me, I don't know when he started coaching, so I can't say that. So to be honest, to be fully honest, I don't know where it went wrong with Coach Gavin, but just from for the outside eye looking in, what Stevie Barker is doing, with all the factors that has happened this season. So many tragedies. I'm explaining it as if it's a horror movie, but it's fine. Losing your two probably most important players, other than Titus. I mean,
And losing Van Veek, and losing Van Rooyen.
And also, you the player that was supposed to be the star this season getting injured for a big part of the season, in Hloonono Mujela. And then you still get to the semi-finals of the CAF Confederations, and then you still finish third in the league. It's brilliant. It's honestly, it's
Okay.
amazing. So, yeah, Stevie Barker for me.
Agent, I want you to jump in on this one. I don't know which cape you're going to be wearing tonight, but who's your pick and why?
The network is jealous. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. I knew it won't succeed. It won't. Let me ask you a question, Mr. OT. Who do you think, between the coach of Pyramids and the coach of Sundowns, who's the best coach?
Cardoso.
Okay, not the winner. I thought you would say the winner.
Cardoso.
Oh, they will remember the winners, not losers. Remember winners. So I don't know, this pittiness that you should pity people. They don't have money. They don't have enough material. What? Pity doesn't work. Pity doesn't work. In this age, here's a coach. Yeah. Here's a coach. For me, that comes in, no precision, no excuses, just come in and works.
After cup loss.
Morale down, everything down, some downing and everything, so I think for that person to come in and accumulate 55 points, that's incredible, man. And score the number of goals he has scored, that makes it more incredible. So I think it's a straightforward one. Honorable mentions, obviously, we honorably mention them. That's why you say honorable mention. They did an honorable thing, not a praiseworthy thing, So yeah, man, it's easy. Jose Cardoso,
Miguel.
No, Jose, get Jose, Lena, wait. Jose,
oh, hey, yeah.
Get Jose, it was the battle of Jose's.
But then,
yeah.
No, I wanted to ask you, Agent, with Cardoso.
Yeah.
I wanted to delve deeper into that situation that he came into, because he comes into a team that also has gotten rid of all of the roots of, or a lot of the roots of Pitso's time. He's the first coach to come in who's not, number one, South African, and then number two, not part of Pitso's coaching tree. What effect does that have, whether it be on the pitch, but also maybe with the public who watch him?
No, man. I think it shakes. I think it was a move that shakes the tree. When you're shaking and leaves come off. That's what that move does. Because what it's saying is, no one is safe. We're all moving away from this happy, lovey-dovey family to a more results-oriented business. Because I think with the way, you wouldn't believe how much under pressure the person is. Despite everything that we're saying, he looks like the most under pressure coach now. It looks like if he doesn't win Nedbank, MTN 8, or he doesn't start well in the league, he's gone. And like you're saying, it's a mercenary, like you call them, Similar thing happened. He takes experience to a final, he loses it, he doesn't start well, fired. So I think now we are getting into a results-oriented Sundowns, and maybe that's going to be a bad thing, if they fire this coach next time, next if he doesn't win CAF Champions League. Because what it would mean is it's only going to select players that work, or that give you the results, not necessarily develop players.
Yeah.
I think the one credit that we don't give to a coach like him is the development of a player like Reyners, where, you can see there's coaching there, Shalulile, you can see there's coaching there, so maybe the small things that maybe that matter, they're not gonna matter, development, is never gonna matter if we move to the style. But I think it's a transition between the old and the new. So it's going to be interesting what we do with him. I feel like if we stay with him for the next 2 years, even if he doesn't win CAF Champions League, then we can still maintain a balance of, you have to win CAF Champions League, you give you 2 years or 3 years, otherwise you're gone. Or you're going to move to an Ahly situation where 1 year is enough. So I think he's that guy who's gonna decide everything for us.
Okay. No, guys, look, this is very interesting. I just want to put forward honorable mentions of my own, and my honorable mentions are, funny enough, they come from the same team. Clinton Larson is one of my honorable mentions for being able to take Makesi and go win a trophy with them. Then ODG. For those who don't know, ODG had one of the longest winning streaks at home, second only to Mamelodi Sundowns, since I believe 2020. And he took Makesi from a team that was struggling all the way up to, took a team that was struggling all the way up to where they finished. I believe it was number 8, if I'm not mistaken. So I want to also bring in those type of coaches as well, because I don't think we look down at the bottom of the log or in the mid-table or all of those things when we're talking about coaches. There's some really good coaches that have done some incredible things. Atazwane, people forget that Amazulu finished 13th last season with
Uti. Don't you believe maybe there should be a category, overthinking, category, we have champions one. Champions one.
Funny enough, the next category is overthinking player. So it's for the players that, I've got it. Okay, so I'm going to start the poll. So guys, please think about those things. Remember how you vote in the poll. There's now going to be a blue little notepad that has popped up on your screen towards the top right of your screen. Click on it and vote. So far, we've had goalkeeper of the season is Chain. Defender of the season is BC. Midfielder of the season is Mokwena. Forward of the season is Ribeiro. And now we're going to be voting for the coach. So please go ahead and vote over there. So like I said, now we're going to be moving into maybe your player was voted out of the standings. Maybe they didn't quite fit into a category. I just want to get 3 people to tell me their overthinking players of the season. So it's similar to player, but it's based off of, people are going to come in. So you cannot use Chains BC Mokwena, Ribeiro in this category. It has to be players that maybe we haven't seen. I would even push to say that I would also eliminate the other guys, the cheapest. That is Williams, CBC Mdau, Mloisane, Makaula Mfukeng, Mokwena, Ribeiro Sales, Reyners. Can you please not use those guys? I'm looking for. Yeah, you is. What's happening? I'm looking for underrated players here that maybe deserve a shout that are not spoken about. Wiz, can you just mute there? I think we're just getting an echo. Wiz, can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to do this. Gustavo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Oti.
Okay, no, I think Wiz is just having a problem. Wiz, come back. I'll put you back on. Gustavo, welcome. How are you?
Good and you, Oti.
Mangimnandi, Gustavo, bandingfuna ma underrated, ama dark horse we league. Who are you nominating in the overthinkers player of the season which is an underrated player that maybe you're not looking at?
I can say sales. I can say sales.
Oh, Marcel Simfagil.
Oh, nimfakile.
Yes,
Oh,
Simfagil go
ishitani.
forward.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This just made it difficult. Go to Utali, man, while I gather my thoughts.
Okay. Butlali, do you have someone?
I have someone, OT.
Okay, let me hear from you.
Keletso Magalo, OT.
Okay.
Keletso Magalo, OT. What a player, OT. What players from Sundowns development. Also Thabo Moleisane is from Sundowns development. Sundowns development produces, I think it's underrated. We talk about Chiefs and Pirates development. We don't really look at Sundowns development because they don't really have the space to fit their players into the main team because it's such a big jump from youth to the main team. So we don't really talk about Sundowns development, but I think it's a very underrated academy because look at the players it has produced. The upcoming player, Goalkeeper United, Giovanni Filenda, comes from Sundowns development as well. Upcoming rising star. Well, he's 24. It's not really a rising star, but Keletso Magalo, coming off that left, I mean, he's especially like start to mid season. Every time, as I said, I've watched Kukune, not multiple times, but a few times, and every time, I've got to see Keletso Magalo. It's just ripping defenses up. Ripping defenses up, and Keletso Magalo has this one cross, OT. He has this cross, OT, like this other fast whipped cross. That cross, that it's a type of cross where you don't have to generate any power. You just redirect the ball.
Yeah.
It's a striker's dream, that cross, OT. Strikers would pay a part of their salary for that type of cross. So I think also he's among one of the most assisters in the, if I'm not wrong, he's among
he's the top. I believe he's the top, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think the top is one of the Sundowns players. I might be mistaken, but he's top 2 definitely. And I just don't think he doesn't get. Also, his general play, he's very, tactically, he's very developed tactically. He knows when to be at what time, and PSL players like that. It's if you don't play for Sundowns or Pirates, it's it hurts me that I can't even include Chiefs there, but it's fine.
Can I ask you something though, Butlal? I like the point that you're making there, that if you don't play for the big teams, is it something that we do across the league? Because if you look at, for example, last season, Sanele Barnes had the most chances created in the league, and I don't think anybody knew or cared. Magalo is the most assists in the league. Nobody cares. How much does this play into these awards? Because we had a conversation earlier about Bo Williams, the Limobudau, for example. Tell me, do we factor those things in? Is that a blind spot?
OT, if they can give us a TV viewership of the PSL in each team, how many viewers or average TV viewers they get, let's not even count the stadium attendances because we can see with our own eyes what's happening in the PSL. You can see that the top 3 teams derive probably 80% of the total viewership of the league. OT, the top 3 teams derive. So it's inevitable that people are gonna care more about the top 3 teams and are gonna notice them more. Nobody watches the PSL. A very few people watch the PSL outside of the top 3 teams. OT.
Okay.
So it's inevitable that those players are gonna get hyped up more than players at the smaller teams. So.
Okay.
So yeah, it definitely is a bit of a overload from the top 3 teams.
Okay. I want to bring in. Let me see, Gustavo. Are you with me? Still?
I'm back, OT.
Somnand.
Soft.
Who are you bringing to the party?
I think I'll bring in Fetu Kulman and Damani.
Okay.
Bring in Kulman and Damani, you know, one of the best youngsters in the league, you know, by margin from his peers, if I can put it like that, especially coming from a defender. You know, this is a boy who has performed. For me personally, I can say he has been one of the best left centre back in the country. He's been the best left centre back in the country. You know, performed well with TS Galaxy. You know, been one of their main men, especially in defense. You know, I would have loved to nominate to Kabini, but I'd just go as my favorite player in the team. You know, I'd go for Undaman. You know, played majority of the games. You know, I think he didn't start around 3 games, you know, played majority of the games, carried that defense, you know, led that defensive line, you know, at the back, you know, as a youngster, you know, looking at a 21-year-old here, OT, you know, the boy has performed well, and the call-up from Hugo Bruce, you know, not the first time his name has been mentioned, coming out of Hugo Bruce's mouth, you know, that should tell you, that should give you a clear picture of where the boy is going in terms of his career, you know, at who are we looking at?
Is he going to Sundowns?
Ngamthatha.
When Hugo Bruce. Anyway.
When Hugo Bruce scouts, I take. When Bruce scouts, I take. You know, but it's a very, very, very promising player. He's one boy that I'm focused on. If he doesn't get a move to one of the big teams, you know, very soon, you know, and he's one player I can even judge on based on this season alone. You know, we always say, let's not judge a player based on one season. Let's give him at least 2 seasons, you know, this and that. But based on this season that he has played, he has showed maturity in his game. You know, he has showed leadership also. You know, to be paired up with Ukabini, who left the country, you know, mid-season, who was also performing well. You know, it's a Coach KP is disturbing me. Coach, you have your own favorites, but yes.
I want to ask you. You spoke about maybe Ndamane going to a big team. Should he move to a big team? Because you look at, you know, Pirates, Lapago center back, Pakoele. You look at Chiefs. I don't know if you'd want to go and go to Kaizer Chiefs. I know I'm a Chiefs fan, but honestly, you go to Sundowns. It looks like young players are going to struggle going forward because of the type of environment it's becoming. You think about khoza. Should he go to a big team? Should he not just stay one more season, go TS Galaxy, or is it someone who needs to go overseas?
No. I remember with Pratim, if they don't sign here, it's an export. I will export now, you know, which is something I encourage, you know, especially if you're gonna go somewhere whereby football is credible, you know, in Europe, not just some chance taker country, you know. Do I see Kaizer Chiefs, Sundowns or Pirates as of yet? Maybe no. Possibly a Stellenbosch. It would make more sense. You know, to give him a good 2-year run, maybe it's a Stellenbosch before he moved to one of those big teams. You know, because in terms of pressure, you know, you still need the boys to stabilize properly, and him playing in the national team also will play a part. You know, in terms of can we judge him now mentally to say, in terms of the competitions that he plays, is the boy very, very mentally strong? We are yet to see it. You know, because the pressure that comes with playing for one of those teams, it's big. You know, it's big. Already you're looking at a total in Kaizer Chiefs whereby he's a starter there and they're in the same age group, I'd like to believe. You know, that means the boy can go into a team like Kaizer Chiefs and be the second choice centre back. You know, as much as I want to see him play, he can be a very good replacement for Utotli. You know, especially as a left-footed centre back, which is it's a rare thing that we have in this country. You know, so possibly a Stellenbosch to make more sense. A Kaizer Chiefs could also be beneficial to the boy if they can properly stabilize as a club. You know, with no disrespect intended. You know, it would be very good for the boy. But I don't see him Chiefs and Sundowns. Him making it as of yet. You know, love him though at Sundowns.
For time I'm gonna jump in. Let me bring in Wiz. Wiz, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm still here. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, Wiz. I'm looking for underrated players that maybe we didn't mention in the nominations up top. Who's an underrated dark horse for you?
Yeah. There's. I can think of 2 names. If skipper Amastars will play for big teams, one is Adams. I don't know if you entered him in your
No, Adams is not there. Mara, I need one. You need to pick one.
Okay, my choice is corner. This white guy who plays for TS Galaxy, midfielder. I think his name is
Zajmovic.
Zajmovic or Zaimovic. That
Yeah.
guy is very impressive. I first saw him when he played for TS Galaxy against the Sundowns. When TS Galaxy beat the Sundowns, and then the whole country was shook. I saw him from there. And from there, I was watching him.
Yeah.
That guy is special. I like how he keeps it basic. He's like a player who can do everything. He cuts off play. He cuts off armor counter attacks. He plays the 1-2s. He's always finding himself in those positions. He's always a goal threat. Emoyen, Ukraine. It's just an impressive player. And I don't know if many people know him because there's all these big names. Because who's gonna mention Zaimovic when there's Abo Ribeiro? But yeah, this guy was very impressive, especially this season. Breakout season. I think I
want to ask you about him. I remember there was an interview where he spoke about, Pirates Chiefs. He spoke about those guys. Do you think that if he were to leave TS Galaxy, he could land somewhere there and make a difference in the big three?
I think he could. He's a good enough player, but I think he'd be a perfect fit for Pirates. I think he can give Abo Mbata and Abo Makaula a run for their money. That guy is impressive. I think if he goes to a team like Pirates, in the issue you see with Chiefs, young stresser, because if he goes there to Chiefs and then now they have to rely on him, he becomes the next Siri. Every time he's losing, he does one mistake, all eyes are on him. It can be. It needs people who are mentally strong if you're gonna go to Chiefs. But I think a team that has some sense of direction, like a Pirates or a Sundowns, I think it do very well for those teams.
What is TS Galaxy getting right in your eyes? What is TS Galaxy getting right? Because there's other people like Bodi Teja, we've seen Abo. Who's that defender? Why am I forgetting his name? We've seen Kimavuso. We've seen so many other players coming out from that team. Bo Mujela at some point were there. What are they getting right?
I think it comes from development. Whoever is finding these players and the way they introduce them to the team, I think it works out well for these players. It's perfect. And there's a sense of solidarity. They know their status. They know, okay, we are TS Galaxy. We're not the best in the country. We're very far from that. But one thing we have is a fight. Each and every one of those players, they play for their badge. They play for themselves and they play for each other. And when they do that, they shine. Shine. You can see players go, okay, this guy, he knows why he's on the pitch. He wants to fight for this badge. And when a player is confident, he knows, I'm playing with people who care. It boosts his confidence and therefore he's able to perform.
Mara bakroela bafighte lukhamba. When are we going to get a TS Galaxy that says we're going to hold on to these guys?
I think it comes from a financial standpoint. If you are TS Galaxy and a big team comes knocking, we say, hey, we want Zaimovic. And you can see they are asking for you're going to ask for a lot of money because maybe the finances are not looking great. So it's always going to be a challenge. But I think give them 3-4 years and then they can start holding on to their star players. They can build from there. They can maybe, if the one thing they can get right is you see what SuperSport has been doing with bringing up these players. Imagine if SuperSport kept all those players. It kept Abo Mokwena, Abo Williams, Abo Mudiro, all those players, they stayed. That'd be a super team. That'd be a super team now. I think TS Galaxy need to learn from SuperSport and see what went wrong, who to keep. They have to make some serious decisions.
No, I'm going to jump in for time, guys. I'm starting the poll. Underrated players. These are underrated players. The 3 names we got from the panel are Mahalo Ndamane and Zajmovic. You vote. There's a blue thing that has popped up on your screen towards the top right. Click on that, then you can vote. So far, in the votes for this for these awards, the awards have gone: goalkeeper of the season, Sipo Chain, defender of the season, Upodlela Usbisi, midfield of the season, Tebza Mokwena, Pitso Mosimane, forward of the season, Ribeiro, and then coach of the season, Caruso. So now we're doing the most underrated. Now, I I don't have a graphic for this, but I'd like the next panel to discuss this. I didn't think I'd have this much time. The next people that come in, I want to discuss best young player. We're going to be voting best young player. I don't have a graphic for it, so please just listen up, guys. Best young player of the season, and my age group, Gustavo, is going to be 23 and down. I want to see what names come up. So I've already got Vuyo who's come in. I need 2 more people who are going to nominate best young player for me. And then we'll go from there. So, Vuyo, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, my brother. Thank you for the opportunity.
Welcome back. Vuyo, best young player. Whose name are you putting down?
Hey, for me, I'll go to. Hey, it's hard, but which age group kahle kahle ukhuluma ngayo?
Aye, 23 and down. From 23 down.
23 down. I'll give it to Mfukeni, young player, again.
Okay.
I think, yeah, he played very well. Even I'm not a fan of Orlando Pirates, you know. Yeah, but the facts must stay as a fact. I think I'll give it to Mfukeni, young player of the season.
Why Mfukeni?
I think he played well, this boy. It's unfortunately he played for a certain team whereby sometimes they'll lose some of the games because of you can't blame Yena alone as a he need assist to able to reach what he need to reach. Yeah, I think I'll give it to Mfukeni. He played very well. Do you have a better season with the? I think from the youngsters group, I think he have a lot of minutes. He was also have a lot of assist, according to me. But I know Ata Sales is better than Yena assist and goals. But to me, I'll give it to Mfukeni. It's one of the best.
I want to ask you, with Mfukeng, do you think that it would be good for him to stay at Pirates for another season? How do you feel about that? Should he be looking to leave? Will he develop?
No, it's the right age to leave South Africa now. I think he can go to the leagues of Belgium, the leagues of Portugal, or France, where he can start to grow as a player. But to stay at Pirates, if you want to grow, the answer is no.
Okay. So we've got Mfukeng down. Let me bring it. Gustavo. Gustavo, under 23. Which young player are you bringing into this conversation?
Sales.
Okay.
Without a doubt, sales. You know, we are looking at, and again, someone just mentioned Undamani. I was gonna go to Undamani. Love that boy. You know, I think it's one player you can go to Nabori there. You know, but sales. Crazy season. You know, one of the most underrated seasons. You know, one of the, if as an attacking player, or I don't want to say striker, because to me it's not a striker, you know, as one player I view as a centre forward, you know.
Okay.
If as an attacking player you are hitting an average, you're averaging over 30% in terms of your goal conversion. Crazy. Those are good numbers. You go worldwide. If a player is hitting over 30% in terms of goal conversion, you know, I'd like people to take note of this. Just that's how you judge a good striker, because he converts most of those chances that he gets. You know, he must fail 70% of the time and kill the 30% off. In terms of the goals he has scored with Sales, got minor chances but converted the most. You know, played less minutes than most of the guys in the league.
Yeah.
You know, had less stats than most of the guys in the league. But the output is just crazy, you know. I'm not even gonna go to Ama assist, because also there, he's outnumbering everyone. You know, he's outnumbering everyone. You know, it's crazy for him to be top 3 in terms of goal contributions in the league. You know, with having played lesser minutes than most of the guys, even the guys on top of him. You know, so if you are to double those minutes, essentially in terms mathematically or statistically, you are going to get your Ribeiro numbers, basically.
Yeah.
You know, if you double those minutes played, you know, the boy has performed very well. Very, very underrated season. I think it's a good season in terms of how he announced themselves, and credit to the coaches who were able to come in, you know, and show us the best of other sales, you know, and utilize him at at his best and show us some of his best qualities and best traits. The boys performed well, and yeah, let's see what he can do next season.
Okay. PK.
Ola uthi?
Kenya mang man mona ko best young player. Sales. I think he's still young, 21, 22 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Detergent, it's a good player, but it's injustice. It's a my court.
Okay.
I'll give it to Nkota, Orlando Pirates, Lansing Bora, but it's fine. Nkota, what a young player, what a beautiful player to watch. Bold, brave, sober in decision making, in terms of shooting. Nkota is such a fable. Unkobotsa out the poor Saleh, Saleh. He replaced Salem very good. He is speedy. You don't want to risk him. One-on-one, he can take you on.
Yeah.
And he have an eye of shooting. So for me, I will go with Nkota. I think Nkota is a good player.
I want to ask everybody, just can you give me an honorable mention? Just one sentence about one of those young players. We'll start with Vuyo. Honorable mention for the young players.
I think Mvuken is one of the consistent youngsters. He's been
Maromfagile.
Oh, another one.
Yeah, we've got Mfukeng, Sales, and Kota, but I just want to mention other young players that are doing well within the league, and maybe a sentence about them.
I forget the name of this boy, Omazulu, and I'm not sure how old he is.
Yeah.
Odlala ngo-left, bekakhona lapha ku-COSAFA Cup, but I'm not sure about his age.
Okay.
What's his name? Actually, I forgot his name. I think he's doing well, and I think I'll go also Khoza. Malbonga Khoza is also doing well. Unfortunately, game time is not guaranteed. Yeah, Muremi. Thank you, coach. Muremi is one of the. Yeah, I think
Let me go to. Sorry, guys. What's happening here? Evan. Gustavo.
Uti.
Young player.
Ndaman.
Okay. Honorable mention.
Can it be an honorable mention?
I'm best namfaka Ndaman some overthinking play. Omunye.
Ulontuzana Samukelo Kabini, the boy who left. I think we can still mention him. Played a high number of games for ETS Galaxy. I think ETS Galaxy, they cooked, taking those players, from the structures of the Soweto teams, with those two boys, class defenders, and I think there are two boys who will give us a great defensive structure going forward. They are our future.
Okay. Guys, I'm going to start before I let PK speak. I'm starting the poll for young players. So remember, it's going to pop up now. Towards the top left of your screen, it's a blue little notepad. Click on that one and you can vote. It's Mfukeng, Sales, and Kota are the three options that you have for the young player of the year. PK, can you give me an honorable mention?
Yeah, I think I did it, but I qualified in Kota, so it will be Detergent for me.
Okay.
The ball boy from Amakosi who was denied an opportunity. We stand with him.
Greener pastures, Mara.
We stand with that boy. He took an opportunity. He refused to be a ball boy at Kaizer Chiefs, and he was like, no, I'm powerful than this. He realized his inner ability and he made it.
But can I ask you about that, PK? How do you feel about youth development in the country? Because you look at Pirates, they've got a bunch of youngsters that have come through. We don't know if the new coach is going to play them. You look at Sundowns, the pressure is on right now. young players are probably not going to play unless you are, sales supreme return levels. You look at Kaizer Chiefs. Tejani leaves DDC, goes to TS Galaxy, starts playing, is one of the standout players. Meanwhile, some of the people that he graduated with, Abomfundo Vilakazi, for example, are not even getting that much game time. How do you feel about development and the way we are integrating players in general?
Yeah, I think it's a hurting thing, OT man. I mean, even in the big and best teams, Bolethaku, I'm a Sundowns player. Bomabena, bo Vilakazi, bo Ntwanela Lunele, Barki Manzwani, mo midfielding, bo Mashia, whoever only Motsamikis left back now.
Oh,
But I think
Amara is
Pirates
old now. Hey, is he old now? But anyway, yeah.
Get those kind of Mkhulise kind of type vibes here age, but it's fine. I think Pirates Jose was introducing something that was gonna be beneficial for the country, and I must say I'm not a Pirates fan, but I must say that that coach was very progressive and he had a vision, and that was gonna help South African football. And I hope for the coach Jago Pirates he carries on with that thing. Yeah, you know, OT, the problem here is that a young star or a development player is not given an opportunity to make mistakes compared to an older player.
Yeah.
An older player can make a mistake, we can just move on.
Yeah.
But when it's a young player, we have the culture of criticizing, not even criticizing, destroying their confidence.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that at some point Mangoba said, when he was a coach, he said, I think he was Nabutswaka, was it Mangoba Butswaka Malibongwe cause? And he was saying, the problem about me fielding him in critical games is that he might make a mistake and is crucified and he might not come back from that. But when he's Tapelo Morena, he can quickly come back from that. I think we must grow the confidence. Look at how Mofokeng is excelling because we gave him his time and his space. Go Pirates. Even if when he loses a ball, it's not a big issue.
Yeah.
But go to Ngarema.
Oh, Vilakazi. Also, Vilakazi, the beginning of the season.
Yes, exactly. Vilakazi Apalama Bolo doing what he is doing best. And he was crucified for that thing, that trap that he did. He was crucified. And when you watch that trap, he actually passed the ball. So I remember we even had a discussion about that thing. And that thing, Ilea Mubrega, as a young player, as much as we can think whatever that we want to think. Look at this boy these boys, our development go AFCON, how they were performing, their own style.
Yeah.
And I saw South Africa is rising up ka development. So our development is good, but the problem is how we trust them in first lineup. I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, Malibongwe Khoza could have defended better than Grant Kegan. But if he made that mistake than Grant Kegan, he was not going to be filled than what Grant Kegan did. So it's that thing of us not trusting our young players.
Okay. For time, I'm going to jump in. I'm looking at the time. I'm going to the last 10 minutes. I wanted to make this now. I want to give the members a chance to help me decide the last one. Then if we have some time, I know Coach KB is here. Lindo is also here. I wanted to let the members come in. If you want to be a member, send me a DM and I'll tell you how. I want the members or a couple of the members to come in and I want to discuss the big one, player of the season. And I want us to have a holistic discussion. It should be an easy thing to figure out, but I just want us to have a chat about that. Now, up to this point, we've been running polls for all of the things. So this is how the categories look. Goalkeeper of the season, according to the votes, is Chain. Defender of the season, ki Podlelo Spisi. Midfield of the season is Mokwena. Forward of the season is Ribeiro. We've got Coach Cardoso as coach of the season. We have Keloso Magalo as the underrated player of the season. And then, of course, we have young player of the season, which has gone to sales according to the votes. Remember, if you want to vote, there's going to be a little notepad that pops up topish left of your screen. You click it, then you can vote for what's happening when the polls are on. That is how we have been discussing this so far. So I'm going to let the members come in, and then I will let anybody else come in after that. We'll maybe prolong the show a little bit. I did start a lot later than normal. I'm seeing 2 members here, so it's fine. Gents, player of the season, is it as straightforward as we're all speaking about it to be?
As a Mr. OT, if there's one thing I love is just the human mind, see it play out and lie to itself. I just remember, after how many games with Sundowns? Was it 7 games?
I'm forgetting, but he was very, because I remember even a final had been played.
And then I think after game number 15, people are saying sales must go home, ne?
Yeah.
And the very same people have turned and they're saying he's had a great season, he's the best player in the season. Hey, guys, don't lie to yourself like that, man. Don't abuse your brain like that, man. But anyway, because, to suppress emotions, it takes an effort on your brains. So you must just use it for something else. Don't lie to yourself.
I care about a confirmation bias.
Yes, Mr. Uti. But he has had a great last quarter of the season. And we can't sleep on that. And then, honorable mention.
Very quickly.
I mentioned Umuremi, Mr. OT, a while ago. And I said, Paris must buy him before he becomes expensive. There's a player who's Cape Town City, but to Francis.
Okay.
He's a striker. Don't look at the stats. The stats will blind you. He's got 2 goals. Oh, what a player, Mr. Uti. Out. So if anyone wants a player, Francis, Cape Town City. But
before we move on, can I ask you something about that?
Yes,
do you think that we give leeway to certain players and we punish other players for similar things, if that makes sense? And do you think it plays out when we speak about the player of the season? On top of that, we don't necessarily look at the other teams within the league, like the smaller teams. Do we have that in us, and is it sometimes just down to entertainment even?
As we should. We look to the bigger teams because to be a bigger team, there's more scrutiny. In as much as we think there's only glory, but there's also an extreme level of scrutiny. You can go and play for TS Galaxy and have 2 great games this season, and we'll hype you up and say you've done very well.
Yeah.
You understand? But if you go and play for Sundowns, Pirates, and you have 28 bad games, my friend, your career is over. So there's more on the line. So it then makes sense why you get so much more glory. You are expected to do it each and every week. And I think Umfukings, at some point, people are saying he's having a bad run. And Moipega, it would be a good run for someone playing for Stellenbosch or for even Chippa United. Ribeiro, we don't only question the number of goals he scored in the league. We also turn it and say, but what are you doing in the Champions League? You understand? So it might look like when you play for the bigger teams, there's a lot of glory, but the expectation, Mr. OT, I mean, how quick were people to turn on Ronan Williams and start saying, he's not good on cross? Because you are tested. Abo kana ke mang OT Nwabali. Ufiwa niki Sundowns ama-goal. Nathi dala masinike emasayidini labantu ama-goal. So, and then asikho hard kubo, Mr. OT. So, trust me, small teams, they're not being kind of getting underplayed or whatever. They're getting what they deserve because that's how they deliver. When you're playing for a big team, you have to deliver consistently. And it's fair that when Ribeiro does well, we praise him on that level because then he has done it consistently and not just 2 games, waited to play against Sundowns, waited to play against Pirates, waited to play against Chiefs. Some of these players, Mr. OT, they come up and we're like, he's the next big thing. And then you check his stats, you're like, before me, Abo Ace Pengu. Remember Mpumelele Pengu?
Yeah.
Remember Judas Musiamedi?
Judas! Ow! He hated us. He hated us. Yeah.
Judas. But Mopeg stats, Judas Musiamedi scored 2 braces last season and both against Chiefs. But Mopeg won 5 goals. The guy, you like, how? Kanti lo mchita lo. Ubulali Chiefs kuphela. So I'm for the big guys, Mr. Oti.
Okay. Play of the season.
So Lucas Ribeiro, Mr. Oti. Lucas Ribeiro. And I feel like in a long, long time, Sundowns have a player who's deserving of player of the season. Not a player who's been average and who's been pretty, who is appealing to the eye. Young understand. This time they have a player who they don't have to force down our throats.
Okay.
They have a player who has won it on the football field and not a tough-lanist debater. So for me, I look at it and I think this is the player of the season. Naganjan, he's delivered. Yes, CAF, it's a different ball game, Mr. Oti.
Yeah.
No, and I wouldn't use CAF performances for a domestic law. There has to be a separation, Mr. Oti.
Yeah.
When it's time to discuss CAF, we'll discuss CAF. But in terms of PSL, he stands head and shoulders above the rest, Mr. Oti. And Kings also second on the list.
Okay. I wanted to ask you holistically, and now this is maybe not just let's take the past 2 seasons. You look at a player like Reyners. Would you say that he's had a better 2-season run? Have we seen one similar? Because last season he finished second to Mabasa.
Even this season, Mr. Uti, I don't think he's been as superior of a player. He might have a great stats here and there.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's been superior. You understand? It then comes to that where people argue based off an individual and only an individual without comparing, Mr. Uti.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like you said, maybe we have to have a matrix of what's player of the season so that we use the same comparison across the board, because we've had seasons where a midfielder is criticized for not having enough goal contributions, and then the same group of people turn and give a midfielder with 0 goal contributions the player of the season. You understand? You're like, come on, guys. And so I wouldn't really say he's been top 2 last season. I don't think he was top 2. He might have made it onto the list somehow. But for me, Reyners, he had an okay season, Mr. Oti. You understand? Compared to Lucas and Urile, those are the go-to guys for both their teams, Mr. Oti. So for me, without a shadow of a doubt, Ribeiro. But if I figure lapha, as voting manje, the PSL might vote manje. And the votes must come in right now. They will announce them after the Club World Cup. Because I fear that it's a 6 lap. And then you know how people work on recency bias. And then they start saying, no, Cardoso is not the coach of the season. Or Ribeiro, Club World Cup. You understand? So all I'm saying is, as voting manje,
Ribeiro. I want to go to PK. PK, do you agree? Or Ribeiro? And how do you feel about this player of the season conversation that we're having?
Ribeiro, Costa Waruna. Sure, OT. For me, I get born le gore re ka engage ka yone. Ribeiro has been fantastic. And And I think what makes him fantastic is that he's able to carry the team from midfield until he finishes. He's able to create space. He's able to see a run and pass the player. He is able to kill one-on-one and create spaces. And I think you ask Abuti Kuto about the Reyners. The problem about Reyners, even I want to quote the great commentator Bariki Reggie. He says, "Umbamba ngatheni." And for me, that's what makes him not to be visible. To say you only get an opportunity when you are turning, but can you carry the ball from the center and attack the player and be able to kill? He's a good finisher. For me, I can compare him with Mabasa. If Mabasa was playing for Sundowns and he is explored into those positions and he's getting those passes, he will definitely be in a level like Oreinas. But I'm not there. I don't know whether to respond to this sarcastic comments that he did earlier. I don't know where is the song of that other guy. One leg, and when the team is going forward, he's going back. Nka right the direction. I don't know. And he was forced in our fraud, and one of the guys in this panel will defend him with all of his might, power, and everything. But gorile tu hayo matlhagellang teng hayo kira le mo honorable what a ga gwa re motsenyi le mo kore ne na shem batho ba ko east ba ko o east bana le go disappoint no yana re tlo mongwe nna tabo ga re bolaya ka di last season ba re he CR7 saleng gorile tu ene ra thola re shebile ne re shebile rona ba bang mara ba tla nna ba re bolella gore ra go gola bo ma 6. It's fine we don't judge, we just ra sheba because
we listen and we don't judge.
Yeah, ba go feleletsa ka go bua gore ra go gola bo ma 6 mara ba ka se ko ne ba celebrate maela seleng ka re bona ba jiwa go di semi-finaleng re thutse re shebile mara we are not there. Yeah, hurry go next time batla ba re berekisa financial power what mara ba batla go introduce dikgomo mo go rona mo ba re bolella ka tsone o buile jo mo re
le shapa right of reply guys balome kutso
kena simolotseng khanye
Time's take again. I think it's unanimous. Ribeiro is the player of the season. What's interesting about him for me is whenever they've needed a goal, he tends to pop up, and I think that is the true meaning of, like, if you're a player of the season, if you're a player of consequence, you have to show up when the chips are down. And I think Ribeiro has showed up quite a bit when the chips are down. And what they did with RMR, well, not necessarily Matthews, but what they did with RMR and Sales and them was lay an incredible foundation for Mamelodi Sundowns. So I am very interested. Before I let Lindo come in now, I just want to do a little bit of comparison. Last season, Reyners played 39 games, and he had 25 goal involvement. Ribeiro played 37 games and had 25. This season, Reyners has 44 games and has contributed 31 goals and assists. And then, of course, Ribeiro on the other side has got 48 games and has contributed for 33. So all in all, these two players, I mean, it's 83 games for Reyners, where he's contributed 56, and Ribeiro has got 85, where he's contributed 58. So that is how close, actually, Reyners and Ribeiro are. Literally, Ribeiro has played 2 more games than Reyners, and has two more goal involvements than Reyners. So I don't wanna look over Reyners there as well. I just wanted to mention him. I have taken time to bring in some players that maybe we're not giving enough respect. Lindo, I'm gonna give you. I've got 5 minutes here But I want to know about, we've spoken about stats and we've spoken about player of the season. How do you feel about awards in general?
To be honest with you, I wasn't here for the awards. I wanted us to talk a little bit about it, press, and what people should look forward to. I think
Okay,
this is
go
the
ahead.
right time to also put it out there. But yeah, in general, what I think about individual awards, I will obviously always speak from a coach's perspective, or OT. And for me, it's always about the team. It's always about performance, you know. Yes, the result matters, but obviously I will always speak from a development coach. And for me, it's always about the performance. You know, you're as good as your last performance. That's how I live my life. That's why even when you read my status, it says I'm a bottle of water. Because I wake up every day and I want to win the day. The people that I've worked with, people that I've coached will tell you, Uti, we even want to fight for a bottle of water. You know, we fight for everything. We're very aggressive in our approach. So for me, individual awards, you know, football belongs to the players, OT. And we give too much credit to coaches sometimes. And Pep Guardiola always says this when they say to him, "You're the best coach in the world," and he says, "But Bielsa is the best." Who is the best? There's a reason why he has Juan Manlilo next to him. When he explains this deeper meaning about coaching, and he says it's not genuinely really the trophies. Yes, are important. You are doing it because you're coaching at the highest level and so forth. But the answers really of football are much more bigger than individual awards. I think more especially in this country, we've seen over the years where people that have won the Player of the Year, some of them haven't deserved it. So I think the award on its own has lost credibility. The only one that's like really exciting is the Young Player of the Year. I think who really has done exceptionally well there in the department. I don't think anyone comes close to him. I don't think it's something that we need to argue with. You know, the boy has had an incredible season, scored games of consequence. Don't tell us about someone. I can score against Amakes now himself. Okay, so please, the boy had an incredible season. Let's give the boy the Young Player of the Year, because I feel like the biggest awards is never going to come close because of the season that Ribeiro has had. Defensively, Ovurvai, I think will pick up a late OT, but I think he had an exceptional season himself.
Yeah.
But I think we need to be honest as well and say he didn't start well, which we will always. That's why I think I see people giving Usbisi a go ahead. But people must remember that Usbisi and I started playing very late in the season. Maybe not too late, but it didn't start the season with the Orlando Pirates. I think Pirates won the
MTN 8.
okay, yeah, I think he was in the team when they played the MTN 8 because Unda had just got injured against the Polokwane City. But my bigger point is Usbisina had an incredible season. So whoever that wins it between the two, I'm happy. Midfield, I don't think, if I'm being honest, OT, personally, and this I was thinking about it when I was sitting down, and I was thinking to myself, you know, like I watch these football games and I watch them thorough, you know, OT, like I really like. I get paid to watch these games. So I watch them like thorough. Sometimes I don't have the time to say it because obviously with YouTube, we are chasing an average time. There's no reason. People don't listen to you for 12 minutes. Nobody cares for that. So you are targeting that. So you pick your sweet spots, you know. But anyway, my bigger point is Utebza, if you watch a game Utebza OT, I think Utebza had an incredible season OT. In my opinion, like when I'm thinking about Utebza now, I think, my God, that boy. You know, in the beginning of the season, I thought he reached the ceiling when he was playing under Mangoba. And like what's crazy about Utebza, I know I'm taking too much time, I apologize, is that he's playing not even in his best position right now with Mamelodi Sundowns. Yet the way he's such a coachable player, technically, like we don't have a lot of players in our league who are as technical, who have the right confidence, the level of professionalism. The boy plays every game out of 10. He plays an 8. He gives you an 8. Hardly loses the ball, controls the game. He's a leader of an incredible squad of players. and to constantly play over 40 games, coming at Mamelodi Sundowns. You must understand that players like Abu Tabs are also natural talent. Dlala proper development, master of basics. And no rulani umsizile that boy, because before he came to Sundowns, it wasn't like that. He looked like he's a player that will have a normal career, you know, like in good midfield and J. But I think where his career is at now, I think he's incredible. But anyway, Oti, let's just talk about the three-man press.
Three-man press, yeah.
I think people should look forward to three-man press, man. There's so many great things that we are about to do. Please do follow us on our social media platforms. Do follow us on our YouTube, which is very important. Anything that you guys support, put us in a better position. Please do follow us on our social media platforms as well. It's me, Talifang. It's me and George. Do look out for good content, gents. I don't know, George. What do you have to say, my brother?
No, the people know that our conversations are always great, guys. There's some big things coming. So, yeah, we're going to be releasing. We took a little bit of a break there because schedules became schedules for all of us. But, yeah, we are back in. And so three-man press on YouTube, three-man press on TikTok, three-man press on Facebook, three-man press on Instagram. We are everywhere. But like Ulindo said, the best place to support any of us is on YouTube because YouTube actually pays for views as well. So please help us out. So, yeah, every week we're going to be doing this. Lindo, thank you so much. Guys, I've gone over. I'm going to wrap it up. Just the results of...
Before you close, no? There's a lot of Sundowns fans here.
Yeah.
On Sunday, I got the privilege to be invited by Usudesh Singh. So, you know, like in the game, one of the things that I realized is I get a lot of respect from ex-professional players, and that warms my heart. And proper coaches. Like when Coach Rulani came into the country, he called me. We met like at work at TNW Productions. When he went to his interview with Umazola, and I had an opportunity to look in his eyes. But anyway, my bigger point is I was watching I'm a Sundowns fans, I'm a Sundowns legends, Abu Eric Ramasike, Begnabu, the striker, Umarumo, about Sheikhs Ngwenya, can mention man, about Isaac Shai. There were so many. And then they express their views. I will upload the videos. I've got a couple of videos. I actually took some content for you guys, like long format of videos. It's just that I'm just looking for time to link them up. And they express their views of how they are unhappy with how the team is and where the team is and how the team is playing. Okay. And the players that are playing for Mamelodi Sundowns currently, you know, and they were expressing the fact that you will see the interview where Eric says you were here and we were expressing ourselves. We were playing the real Shushan and piano, and we don't want to lose that, you know, which is not. We cannot sacrifice that more than to get trophies, you know. But I think it was more than it was a deeper conversation than that. But I'm just trying to share that. You know, like legends of the club, how they feel versus the fans, you know. You know, but I know that there's people that will at some point tell the truth.
I think we should, I still want to have these conversations on three-man press. I think we're going to have them properly there. We're going to put them down proper. But guys, just a recap of tonight. According to the votes, goalkeeper of the season at the Overthinking Football Awards is Sipo Chain. We've got Sbisi as the defender of the season. We have Mokwena as the midfielder of the season. We have the striker, which is Ribeiro. Well, forward. Sorry, apparently forward of the season is Ribeiro. Coach is Cardoso. Then the underrated, Overthinking Football's underrated player is Ukeleto Makhalwa. We've got best young player going to Sales. Then we've got player of the season being Ribeiro. That is how the voting went tonight. But I have one more thing that I want to speak about just when we were highlighting people, and I mentioned it a little bit. Kichamen's award. Kichemene, guys, today. Kichemene. One day I'm going to have 2 million to rub together, and you know, let me not go there. I just want to highlight a couple of people for me that maybe don't get the same, you know, fanfare when things happen. So I want to highlight, ODJ for the run with Makesi, taking Makesi from a team that was looking at relegation after the hangover of winning a trophy to a team that is a top 8 team, if I'm not mistaken. You look at coaches like Pitso Mosimane, who slipped a little bit, but what he did after losing Musiema last season and what they're doing now is incredible. You speak about Atazwani, somebody who, again, proves that he can take a team from wherever and put them into the top 6. Taking Amazulu from where Pablo Franco Martin had left them, I believe, at number 13 to where they are right now. There's so many coaches that I'd love to just give credit to, man. Abu Siema, you guys know how much I love Abu Siema, even though it didn't work very well there with Kukune. There he goes again, leaving Kukune in a very nice place. Eric Tinkler taking over there. We've mentioned Abu Steve Barker and those type of coaches. I think they deserve to be noticed as well. We speak so much about the big players, the big teams. You look at the players. There's players. I'm so happy. My heart is warm that Abu Zajvomic are there. I'd love to see Abu Diong mentioned. Guys, how much I love Abu Diong. There's players who are doing so much quiet work, and because they play for smaller teams, we don't really look at them. And that is maybe my big worry with awards and things like that, is that as a country, I don't think we consume enough of everybody in order for us to make these type of decisions. And you look at Abu Bruce, maybe Abu Bruce, like Ulindo says, look at these players and teams a lot deeper. That's why he keeps finding them for Bafana, and Sundowns keep finding them all over the place. I think if we can just start to look at those guys too, and not make these awards just a popularity contest. There are players that are performing incredibly that we don't highlight. And I want to tie myself down to next season. I want to highlight a lot more of the different players that are all over the league that we don't give shine. I myself, I don't consume enough PSL football for me to know everybody and everyone and all of that. But I think we need to give shine to some of the guys that are at other teams. Thank you guys so much. I did go over. I even started late. Thank you for attending the awards. Let me do this. I wanna play this out very awardsy. Let me play it out very awardsy. That is my only exit. But as always, man, I have to leave with this one. Just because I can, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Remember, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. I'm here. If you missed the show and you want to watch it back, it is available in full on YouTube. So you can go there and watch the full episodes there on YouTube. You can also watch my podcast that I put out there every couple of days where I go through some topics and things like that. I do reviews and all of that stuff. Guys, remember, if you ever see anything your brand, if you see a logo in any of my videos anywhere, watch the video fully. Share, like, comment, do all of those things, because that's how you can help us. On YouTube, watching is views equals money. That is how we keep everything here. If you want to be a member, an official member of Overthinking Football, we have a WhatsApp group that is offline where we have some incredible conversations. Send me a DM and I'll tell you how. I know, I keep saying I'm going to do it right now to update everybody that has sent me DMs to join the WhatsApp group on that side. Incredible place. And then, of course, we've got three-man press, myself, Lindo Pep, Khalifan Football, Khalifan. We have a show that we do together, a podcast that we do together, where you can get the best of 3 views, debating topics that we put onto the table. Very, very incredible place that is. And if you want to watch even more of me on MacG's network, Banter League, onside the Banter League, I'm also there. You can watch us speak about more bantery situations in world football. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you then. Husani, 7. Yeah, straight. Spoonie League, guys.
Kajeno bana ba rona ba tsuba ntho tjena ya plastic ya metsi tjena ke tsebe ba e bitsa eng ba re ke lampi ke a ke tsebe ba bubbling ke ba ke ngwane swa mpolella a re ke bubbly habi ore ba yetsa ke mo.
We want to win Publi Hub Lilirona. Shout out to Gustavo Popti, Gubi, Mapule, Ausintabi, Amigo, Tele, Cabello. Thank you so much for the gifts. Guys, bye-bye. I'm going to go sleep.